Garuda said, "Tell O Lord, about the method of performing the Sapiṇḍa rite, the removal of pollution, and the gift of accessories." The blessed Lord said, "Listen, O Tarksya, and I will explain to you the entire Sapiṇḍa rite, by which the condition of preta is left behind and the soul enters the class of the pitṛis. Those whose pindas have not been mixed together with the ancestors called Shiva and the rest, one are not uplifted by the various gifts made by the sons. If the sun is always impure, they are never purified. Without the Sapiṇḍa rite the impurity does not depart. Therefore the Sapiṇḍa, at the end of the pollution period, should be performed by the sun. I will tell you about the ending of pollution to be observed by all. A Brahmin becomes pure in 10 days, a Kshatriya in 12 days, a Vaisya in 15 days, a Sudra in a month. The Sapiṇḍa relatives 1 are purified from the death pollution in 10 days, the Sakuliya relatives 2 in 3 nights, and the Gotrajas 3 are purified merely by bathing. Those who are related within the 4th degree to the deceased are purified in 10 nights, those in the 5th degree, in 6 nights, the 6th, 4 days, the 7th, 3 days, the 8th, a single day, the 9th, a quarter of a day, the 10th, merely till bathing. So long lasts the pollution of death and birth, according to the distance of degrees from the deceased. If a person dies in a foreign land and one hears of his death, then the impurity lasts for the remaining portion of 10 days on which he hears the news. If after the lapse of 10 days, he is polluted for 3 nights. If after a year, he becomes pure even by bathing. If a second pollution comes during that from the first death, then the purification from the first pollution includes that from the second. If a boy who has not yet cut his teeth dies, purification is immediate, before tonsure, 1 night, it is said, before the investiture with the thread, 3 nights, and afterwards, 10 nights. If a girl dies between birth and tonsure, purification is immediate, in all the castes alike, up to betrothal a single day, and from that to old age 3 nights are authoritative. If after the betrothal ceremony 3 days for both families, it should be understood, if after marriage, only the husband's family. If the embryo dies before 6 months, in as many days the embryo lived months, purity is regained. After this the women are polluted, according to the caste. If the embryo dies, purification of the Sapiṇḍa relatives is immediate. During the Kali age it is authoritatively declared in the Sastras 10 days purification for all the castes, after births and deaths. Blessing the worship of the Shining Ones, reception of guests, salutation, lying on a bed, and touching others should not be done during the death pollution. Sandhya prayers, giving, reciting, fire offering, religious study, offering to the forefathers, feeding of Brahmins and the observance of vows should not be done during the death pollution. He who during pollution performs the daily, the occasional and the specially desired ceremonies of him the regular and other ceremonies already done are lost. For one observing vows, engaged in mantras or in fire offerings, or a twice born intent upon Brahman, an ascetic or a king there is verily no pollution. Food prepared before marriage festivals and sacrifices, and before the pollution by birth or death, can be eaten, so Manu declared. Whoever, during pollution, accepts through ignorance, suffers no evil, but the giver even though it be to a mendicant that he gives, suffers evil. Whoever, hiding his pollution, gives food to a twice born, and the Brahmin who knowing it, accepts it, are both subjected to suffering. Therefore, for the purifying from pollution, one should perform the Sapiṇḍa ceremony for the father, who then goes to the world of the forefathers to join the multitudes of forefathers. The truth-knowing sages here declared that the Sapiṇḍa ceremony should be on the 12th day, the 3rd fortnight, the 6th month or at the end of the year. But I say, O Tarksya, following the scriptural ordinances, that for the 4 castes the Sapiṇḍa should be on the 12th day. The 12th day is preferable because of the endless variety of conditions in the Kali age, and because of the shortened life of men, and the impermanence of the body. If a Brahmin householder dies, then investiture with the sacred thread, the fulfillment of vows, marriage and other ceremonies should not be done. Until the Sapiṇḍa has been performed the mendicant should not accept alms, and guest offerings should not be accepted. The daily and the occasional ceremonies should be discontinued. By the omission of rites sinfulness arises, therefore one should perform the Sapiṇḍa ceremony on the 12th day, whether he be without fire or with fire. The fruit which accrues from visiting all the sacred bathing places, the fruit which accrues from performing all sacrifices. That fruit is obtained by doing the Sapiṇḍa ceremony on the 12th day. Hence, having bathed, and having cleaned with cow dung the place of death, the son should perform the Sapiṇḍa ceremony, as laid down in the scriptures. Then he should worship the world deities with foot water, oblations, 1 and akamana. 2 Next, having given rice balls to other departed ones, he should sip water. He should offer 3 rice balls in order to his grandfather and others, in the forms of Vasu, Rudra, and Arka, and the 4th rice ball to the dead. He should worship with sandal paste, leaves of the holy basil, incenses, lamps, agreeable fools, mouth scents, good cloths and presents. Having divided the rice ball for the departed into 3 parts with a thin bar of gold, he should mix them severally with the 3 rice balls given to the grandfather and the others. It is my decision, O Tarxia, that the Sapiṇḍa ought to be done, the mothers with the grandmothers and the fathers with the grandfathers. If the father dies while the grandfather still lives, 3 rice balls should be offered to the great-grandfather and his predecessors. The father's rice ball, divided into 3 parts, should be mixed with the rice balls. If the mother dies before the grandmother, then he should perform the mother's shraddha in the same way as the father's, or should mix the rice ball with both mine and great Lakshmi's. The husband should perform the Sapiṇḍa ceremony for his wife. If she has no son, he should do the Sapiṇḍa for her along with the mother-in-law and others. The Sapiṇḍa rite for women should be done with that for the husband, his father and grandfather. That, O Tarxia, is not my opinion, because the wife being already half the body of her husband requires no Sapiṇḍa ceremony with regard to her husband. If, O Kasyapa, husband and wife ascend the same funeral pyre, then, having put grasses between them, he should perform it with that of the mother-in-law and father-in-law. Only one son should perform the rites, first the offering of a rice ball and other things for the father, and after that, having bathed again, the rite for the mother. Having done the Sapiṇḍa, O Tarxia, he should make the offering of water to the forefathers. He should utter "Let there be Swada," along with Vedic mantras. Afterwards he should always have a guest fed until he says Hanta. By this the forefathers, the sages, the shining ones and the Danavas are pleased. As much as a mouthful is called alms, 4 mouthfuls is abundance, and 4 abundances is called Hantakara. During the Sapiṇḍa he should worship the feet of a twice-born with sandal paste and colored rice, and make to him a gift, for his continued satisfaction. He should have maintenance for a year, clarified butter, food, gold, silver, a good cow, a horse, an elephant, a chariot and a plot of ground given to a preceptor. Then he should worship with mantras after saying Hail to thee the planets, Devi, and Vinyakam 3, with saffron, colored rice and eatables. The preceptor should then, with mantras, sprinkle water, and having bound a thread upon the hand, should present the colored rice also consecrated with mantras. Then he should have Brahmins fed with various pleasant sweetened foods, and he should give them presents, and 12 pots with water and food. After the feeding of the twice-born, water, a weapon, scales, and a rod should be touched severally by the castes, who are respectively thus purified. The Sapiṇḍa ceremony having been thus performed, the cloths worn during the rite should be cast off, and white cloths having been donned, the gift of a bed should he made. All the Devas, one headed by Indra, extol the gift of a bed. Therefore a bed should be given, during life or else after death. Made of the choicest wood, delightful, painted in beautiful colors, strong, canopied with silken cloth, ornamented with gold leaves. Having beautiful pillows stuffed with swan's down, together with a coverlet made fragrant with the scent of flowers. Well bound with bright bands, broad and pleasant, such a bed as this being made, it should be placed on the ground covered with cloth. An umbrella, a row of silver lamps, an oxtail fan, a seat, a vessel, a water pot, a mirror, and a canopy of 5 colors. And all the other accompaniments of the bed he should place round it, in their proper places. On it he should have placed a golden hari, together with Lakshmi, with all the ornaments, weapons and clothes. And, in the case of women, having placed them on the bed, he should have the red dye, saffron, clothes, ornaments, and all the other necessary things. Then a Brahmin, with his wife adorned with fragrances and flowers, with ear and finger ornaments and golden necklaces, wearing a turban and an upper cloth and jacket, should be seated by him on the comfortable bed, in front of Lakshmi and Narayana. He should worship Hari and Lakshmi with saffron and flower garlands, and adore the guardians of the world, the planetary spirits and Vinayaka. Facing north, and holding flowers in his palms, he should pronounce this mantra, standing in front of the Brahman. Just as, O Krishna, your bed is the ocean full of milk, may this likewise be not empty in my future births. Thus he should place the handful of flowers before the Brahman in the image of Hari, and then the bed gift with its accompaniments, according to the rite. He should give it to him who observes vows, is a teacher, and tells about Brahman, and say, O Brahman, receive these. How seldom does anyone so give? He should rock the twice-born and Lakshmi and Hari, seated on the bed, and then, having walked round and bowed, give them leave. If he is rich he should give a very beautiful house, furnished with all the necessaries, so that he may sleep happily on the bed. If a living man makes with his own hand the gift of a bed, there should be performed, while he is still living, on full moon day the dedication of a bull. This bed should be given to one only, and never to several. Divided or sold it drags down the giver. Having given a bed to a deserving person, he may obtain the fruit of his desires. The Father, and the Son giving it, rejoices here and hereafter. At the celestial house of Indra, and at the abode of Yama, he will arrive without doubt through the potency of the gift of a bed. He will reside there free from trouble, seated in the best of chariots, waited upon by numbers of celestial damsels, until the coming of the deluge. The merit from all the sacred bathing places, and on all the days of the changes of the moon, even superior to these is the merit arising from the gift of a bed. Having this made the gift of a bed, the son should have patadana given. Listen to my words, and I will tell you the method of it. An umbrella, shoes, clothes, a signet ring, a water pot, a seat, a set of 5 vessels are called the 7 kinds of patas. This pata becomes complete with a staff, a copper vessel, uncooked rice, foods, valuables, and sacred threads. Having, according to his means, obtained these 13 patas he should give them to 13 Brahmins on the 12th day. By this patadana the righteous go to a good condition, and this patadana gives happiness to those who have gone on the way of Yama. There is their intense heat, by which the man is scorched, but the gift of an umbrella makes pleasant shade above his head. And on the path in the world of Yama, full of great thorns, those who gave shoes go riding horses. The miseries of cold and heat and wind are dreadful there, O bird, but by the power of the gift of clothes he goes happily along the way. The messengers of Yama, very terrible, fierce and brown-black, do not trouble on the road him who made the gift of a signet ring. It is enveloped in great heat, is windless and without water, through the gift of a water pot he, when thirsty, drinks water. Who, for the dead, gives a water vessel made of copper, certainly enjoys the fruit which is obtained by thousands of gifts of wells. Through properly giving to a twice-born a seat in a vessel, leisurely going on the path he comfortably enjoys his provisions. Having thus given, on the day of the Sapiṇḍa ceremony, this gift, as prescribed, he should have many Brahmins fed, also Chandalas and other outcasts. Then, after the Sapiṇḍa and before the annual ceremony, a water pot with rice balls should be given every month. There is no redoing of what is done excepting the rites for the departed, one O bird, but, for the sake of the departed it may be done again, as a means of unfading satisfaction. Now I shall tell you the rules concerning the monthly, the annual and the fortnightly ceremonies, and of dying on lunar days. If one dies at the full moon his rites fall on the 4th day. If one dies on the 4th day his rites fall on the 9th. If one dies on the 9th day, his day is the 14th. In these cases one should perform the fortnightly Shraddha on the 20th day. When in 1 month, XIII, 2 Sankrantas occur, in the irregular month, the month being double, the Shraddha is not performed. When there are 2 months in 1 month, of those 2, the 2 fortnights and the 30 days are the same, both must be performed. For the first half they take the former, the dark, for the second half, the latter. Thus are understood by the wise the 2 months which are in the irregular month. The Sapiṇḍa ceremony, O bird, should be done when there is no Sankranta, similarly the monthly and the first annual Sraddhas. If there is an additional month in the middle of a year, then in the 13th month the annual ceremony for the departed occurs. When there is no Sankranta, rice balls are not used. When there is Sankranta, rice balls are proper. Thus the annual Shraddha should be done in both months. Thus, At the end of the first year one should perform the annual Shraddha, and in that, in addition, the twice-born should be fed. After a year one should always offer 3 rice balls at the Shraddha. The ceremony for one only should not be done, by it one becomes the destroyer of his forefathers. The Shraddha at a sacred bathing place, the Shraddha at Gaya, the Gajashiyam, for the fathers these he should not do during the year, nor at eclipses, nor on Yuga days. If the son performs the Shraddha at Gaya, O Lord of birds, it should be done after a year, with devotion to the forefathers. The forefathers are freed from the ocean of existence by the Shraddha at Gaya and, by favor of the Vishnu, they go to the supreme state. He should worship the feet of Vishnu with the shoots of the holy basil, and in proper order offer rice balls round them. He who offers, on the head of Gaya, a rice ball of the size of even a sami leaf helps over 7 clans and 101 fatutis. He who, delighting the family, having gone to Gaya, performs the Shraddha and gives satisfaction to the forefathers, his life is fruitful. O Lord of birds, the forefathers hear songs sung by the holy ones in Kalapa, the garden of Ikṣvaku, the son of Manu. Are there none in your family, treading the good path, who, having gone to Gaya, will offer us rice balls, with devotion? The son who thus performs the rites for the other world, O Turkshaya, is happy and becomes liberated, like the son of Kausika. The 7 sons of Bharadwaja, having experienced a series of births, were liberated by the favor of the forefathers, O Turkshaya, although they killed a cow. The 7 hunters in the country of Jasarnas, the deer on the mountain of Kalanjira, the Chakravaka birds in Saradvipa, and the swans in the Manasa lake, were born as Brahmins learned in the Vedas, on the field of the Kurus, and all these sons of the twice-born attain liberation through devotion to the forefathers. Therefore a man should make every effort in devotion to the forefathers, for by devotion to the forefathers he becomes happy either in this or the other world. Thus I have told you, O Tarksya, all the ceremonies, concerning the deceased, giving merit to and satisfying the desires of the son, and giving liberation to the forefathers. Any man who is poor, but hears this account, even he, absolved from sins, obtains the fruit of gifts. He who performs, according to the rite, the Shraddha offerings described by me, and also hears the Garuda Purana, listen to the fruit for him. The father gives good sons, the grandfather, wealth of cows, and his great-grandfather becomes the giver of riches. The great-great-grandfather gives foods in abundance, all these, gratified by the Shraddha, granting the son's desires. Go on the way of righteousness to the mansion of the King of Justice, and there they remain, highly respected, in the assembly of righteousness. Suta said, having heard the result of the after-death gifts and their mighty greatness, thus declared by the blessed Vishnu, Garuda went into raptures.